This week on Gotta Go,
I was today years old when I learnt things I probably should have already known.
I got to interview a world leader.
We have a few thoughts on the budget.
I'm feeling a bit awkward about the new Michael Jackson film.
And have we all been making tea wrong? So B, I was today years old when I found out, you know, the Michelin restaurant guide with all the fancy restaurants?
Yes.
That was actually created by Michelin, the tyre company.
What?
I know. And so it was a thing they did to help get people in the car driving around the country.
Oh, that is so funny.
Not funny.
I just thought it was a really, fancy French rating system or something.
And then the other thing I have to admit that I did not know, which I should because of the industry I work in, is you know that whole trat wife thing?
Trad wife?
Trad wife.
Yeah. Did you just call it trap wife?
Trad wife. Well, that's one thing. No, I thought it stood for trade wife, like you're the wife of a tradie. And tradies make so much money that you can choose to stay at home.
Oh, that's
I didn't realise it stood for traditional wife.
Yeah. Do you know, I've got one a bit like that where I remember doing a first aid course and they were like, because you're the first to aid in an emergency. And the whole room went, first aid. So I got to interview a world leader recently.
A world leader?
Yeah, world leader.
Who?
Wasn't from England, no. It was from
confusing.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Love the Kiwis. And I got to interview Helen Clark, former Prime Minister. She was Prime Minister for 3 terms in New Zealand. Yeah, she was amazing. It was part of this campaign I'm an ambassador for the year. It's called Be Hope. So it's like there's lots of bleak stuff happening in the world, but there's actually lots of epic, amazing stuff happening in communities, in courtrooms, in, all around the world, and you can forget about all the progress and the good stuff happening.
Yeah.
So interviewed her as part of her role because she was actually super senior at the UN. She was like in charge of,
she was Prime Minister?
Yeah, so after Prime Minister, she went on to head up the UN Development Agency, which oversees aid in 170 countries.
Wow.
She went for the top job as head of the UN. That's a whole another story. And she's also the chair of Gavi, which is the Global Vaccine Alliance that have vaccinated 1.2 billion children. It was just really interesting to sit down with someone who has been at the highest heights of global politics and world leading stuff. Yeah. And be like, if people are anxious and depressed about the state of the world, she's like, yeah, remember when it was World War II and we were in the middle of that? And she just gave the perspective of history. She's like, yes, there's lots of bad things happening, but there's been times throughout history that have been...
It's been worse.
It's been worse and
COVID,
we can sort of forget
worse.
that. And I think when we're bombarded with a negative media news cycle 24/7, I do think sometimes I have conversations with people though and they're just despairing about how bad everything is. You're like, yes, there is a lot of compounding crises happening right now, but also there are lots of really great things happening as well.
Yeah, and I think there's an element there where you can, the thing is you don't want to shut yourself off to news because you want to be informed, but also it comes to a point where you're like, I need to stop checking the news for a little bit. I need to tap out.
Totally.
And you feel privileged because you're like, I can tap out. The people in those countries where the bad news is happening, they can't tap out.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a bit of boundaries for yourself.
Totally. And I do one podcast every morning, one news deep dive that's 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah. And then I feel like I've got one topic that I've learned a bit about rather than because just being bombarded by random negative headlines as well, it's stressful and you have no context. Yeah. And you don't really learn anything, I find. I just feel stressed.
Back to Helen as a person. What was she like? Was she nice?
She
I feel
was
like world
awesome.
leaders,
have you met world leaders?
I
what
haven't.
World leaders have you met, Mol?
But I look at Barack Obama, he looks like a cool dude.
I just feel like he'd be awesome in real life.
But I feel like there'd be a level of intimidation as well.
Oh, it was definitely intimidating, meeting someone that's just obviously an amazing intellect, has done incredible things in the world. She was so funny. She was really humble. She was really down to earth. And what I loved, it was like this campaign launch. We're at this conference and she just rocked up in her sneakers. She's like, I just had to put some comfortable shoes on. And I was like, respect, Helen. Yes. Why do we do it to ourselves? I just love that she's of such substance. So she's like, I don't care what shoes I'm wearing. Let's have a good conversation about what we're here to talk about. I felt very inspired just being in her company and Be Hope. That's the campaign I'm going to be a part of, which I just love the idea of let's shine a light on the bright spots and not just focus on the bad.
Congratulations for interviewing a world leader.
All right, Mol. So budget week last week.
Budget.
Is that your Christmas, It's like your New Year's party?
To be honest, Not really, because
I was joking. But yeah.
it wasn't till a few years ago that I even really followed the budget because I just didn't honestly care. And then I realized actually this has impact on my life.
Yes.
I probably need to get across this.
Yeah.
And then last year I was actually invited to go to Canberra to budget lockup.
That's right. Explain what lockup is for people that don't know.
Well, I thought we were going to literally be locked up in a room, and we kind of were, but it's not like they lock the door. Like,
don't they? I thought it was.
No. So they take you. You have to put your mobile phones away. You can't be connected to the internet or anything like that.
Yeah.
And they give you a copy of the budget report, and then you go in and you hear the treasurer talk about the budget. Yeah. So and then they explain to you what the budget is. But the cool thing after that was all the MPs and ministers would come in. You could literally ask them questions about the budget. Not going to lie, some people were asking such in-depth questions. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But for the most of it, it was really great that we could then get that information and then just help our audience understand it and how it's going to affect them.
People are describing this budget as bold, but there seems to be a lot of people having a big old whinge about it. So
I mean, I haven't met anyone yet who's like,
love the budget.
Budget is the best. Everyone's like, the budget's going to ruin us.
Yeah.
So I'm putting on my glasses here because I've got news to
She's
share.
getting budgety.
Getting
She's going to
budgety.
budget like a boss.
As you said, they're calling it a bold budget because they're touching things that haven't been touched for a very long time.
So true.
So negative gearing and capital gains are the main things that are making headlines. And this is to all investments. So not just property, but shares as well and businesses, which is why, again, a lot of businesses are quite upset by this.
Yeah.
As far as putting like a women's lens on this, I wanted to check out actually what's really affecting women. So there's some good news, and a lot of this we already know. So paid parental leave. So that's been expanded to 26 weeks for babies born or adopted from the 1st of July, 2026.
Okay, great.
So super unpaid parental leave is coming in, which is awesome. Child support reform. So 182.6 million over 4 years have been committed to reform child support schemes to address financial abuse, weaponization, and unpaid child support, which is good.
Great.
Endometriosis, pelvic pain clinics, they're all being expanded to include menopause and perimenopause. So that's kicking off in July 2026.
Wow.
So some of this was part of last budget. Now it's coming into play this year. And then housing as well. Young women and girls represent 2/3 of clients seen by specialist homelessness services. So 59.4 million has been pledged to help young people access community housing.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
then a few other things as well.
So I've got to say, like, I put up a post about, the Australian had an article and it had, I'm going to say a boomer, but, an elderly gent in his Porsche standing in front of his investment property.
Yeah.
Complaining about these changes, like how it was terrible. They were being robbed, basically.
Yeah.
It was the headline. They're robbing us Peters to pay us Pauls. And I will say I did feel a bit incensed because I thought, I get that things are changing and I get that that comes with uncertainty and people don't like change.
Yeah.
But this is not something you're entitled to. It actually was a tax break. Yeah. And, John Howard bought these changes in 1999, right? And as Alan Kohler explains in many numerous excellent articles, it's seen a huge increase in house prices as a result. Like we have a cooked housing market. Yeah. Everyone wants something to be done about it. But when something is done about it, everyone's up in arms. Now, I do understand that people are angry because Labor said they weren't going to do it. Yeah. And when they were asked before the election, they said they weren't going to do it, and now they've done it. So they've done it without a mandate. And look, that's going to be up to people to decide then how they want to vote and what they want to do. But we, have been calling on our government forever to do something about this disaster situation, right?
Yeah.
And they're finally doing something.
Yeah, big time. I think especially with Ladies Finance Club, like I speak to women every single day who are like, I am never going to be able to afford a property. The government needs to do something about this. They're doing something about this.
Yeah.
I think where people are getting upset is the fact that they have changed that capital gains to shares, ETFs, and businesses as well.
Yeah. Well, I think people are angry across the spectrum. I mean, this article I was referencing, I just thought this guy, there's going to be no change to his negative gearing.
Yeah.
If he's negative gearing, he can still do it. He's going to keep all his capital gain that's accrued till now, and it's only going to apply on gains from 2027. So I just thought, well, actually, you're in the best situation. Yeah. You've got a house, you've got an investment property, you've got a Porsche. And it's actually, you know, like in my community here, in our community, like I heard a terrible story of someone's kid's teacher living in their car.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford to get into the housing market, and they're trying to save desperately, you know, to live, to just buy a house. And to me, like, we've turned property into an investment asset in this country, and it's all about that. I mean, you know, I'm interested in your perspective because you have investment property.
Yeah.
You have two.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. But you've done that for many reasons. One being
I couldn't
because
afford
this housing market is
the market was so cooked. I couldn't afford to buy where I was living, so I had to buy in a location I could afford.
Yes.
To actually get me into the property market. Now I've seen that go up quite a bit in capital gains, but again, and then I was able to buy my second property, but I couldn't have bought that second property without the first property.
Yeah.
So it does seem. When I did it, I was like, wow, this is great for me.
Yeah.
But also not for the people where I bought those properties, because then you're taking up their stock.
Yeah.
The few people I have spoken to since the budget who do have investment properties, a few of them were like, yeah, I'm definitely thinking about selling one or two. And the others are going, well, I was going to do some house flipping, or I was going to buy one, but now I'm going to put a pause on that. Yeah. Which was the whole point of bringing this in.
Yeah, to cool the market.
And help level out that playing field.
Yeah, and help, because I suppose, you know, we live in a country where it's easier to buy your 20th investment property than it is for many homeowners to buy one home that they just want to live in and have security.
Yeah, and I obviously am in that privileged position where I have investment properties.
Yeah.
But also I'm looking now to buy in the location I live. And the property prices are just like, me and my partner, we're good earners. It is like, even for us, impossible. Well, not impossible, but like very hard to get into the property market. So I wonder, what do people who are, you know, like
on minimum wage,
where are they meant to go? What are they meant to do?
I know.
And I really do believe that housing should be, that's just a basic human right that everyone should have access to, that house security.
Well, it's really interesting because, you are a property investor, but you can also see, I suppose, the arguments from both sides.
Yeah. And the first time I had an investment property was the most I ever got back on my tax bill. And I was like, how does that work?
This is crazy. Yeah. Like the system's cooked.
Yeah.
Something needs to change. The question will be whether or not, you know, people are going to be so angry about this change.
Yeah. That it causes it to change back, or will this actually have the effect the Labor government wanted to have on the housing market?
I mean, I think what's interesting as well is I think the government's taking a bit of a gamble that I believe by the next election there'll be another 700,000 young people that are voting. And so for the first time ever, the scales have tipped in the favour of young people. There's more young people voting. Until now it's been just about, you know, the older generations and their property portfolios. 66% of Australians own their home. So they've been the majority. And I think that's the first time we've seen that this is shifting. It's a extremely complex issue that has been, you know, created over decades and decades.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fixed by this.
No.
I do feel we have to give Jim Chalmers and the government some credit for taking a big political hit and trying to do something.
Knowing that they might lose the election over it.
I was personally very disappointed that they didn't take the opportunity to introduce the gas tax.
Yeah.
25% tax on gas exports would have generated $17 billion a year.
Wow.
Could have built a bit of affordable housing with that. It had 80% public support. Like, I don't know if you've been seeing on social media, but like basically anything the government posts or Albo posts, it's just like the comments are just hundreds of people saying tax gas.
It looks like a bot, but it's actually not a bot.
It's not,
people.
Yeah. And it's across the political spectrum, you know, from your One Nation voter to your Greens voter and everywhere in between. But, you know, there's a bit of a unity ticket on this. Like the Libs aren't going to do anything about it. Labor don't seem to want to do anything about it. One Nation say they do, but like when they actually come to vote on it, they don't. Anyway, that was disappointing. I think a big missed opportunity. Hopefully, if we keep the pressure on, that will happen at a future budget. And the other thing was I was disappointed that there was only $40 million put aside for charging infrastructure for electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like it's a barrier for people to make the switch. We know 80% of charging happens at home. Most people charge at home. But if they want to do those longer trips or, have that kind of freedom for other trips, I just think $40 million, it's nothing.
So a small reality check. So yes, everyone's unhappy with the budget. People are whinging left, right and centre. If you're in Australia and you are earning over 100,000, you are in the top percent of not Australia, the world.
Yeah.
In earnings. And we are so lucky in this country to have everything that we do have. And also politicians, no matter what side you are on, they're doing a job no one wants to do. I don't want to be a politician.
Gosh, no.
And the amount of abuse and kind of almost violence I'm seeing, God, they cop it tough.
They absolutely do. And just the violence in the rhetoric.
Yeah.
Particularly online. I know even as me who putting up videos about for example, electric vehicles last night. I had this guy send this expletive laden FFF, thing at me. It's just such violent language. I went onto his profile. Unbelievably, he's single. You wouldn't believe it. But I was just wow, if people feel emboldened to say that to someone they don't know who's just sharing a perspective, it must be really scary, I think, for some people in those public positions. Definitely. Like you said, they're all doing a job no one wants to do.
Yeah.
And we need people to do it.
I remember meeting one of the ministers and she had been hounded on socials to the point where she can't look at socials now. Her team looks at that because she was getting so many rape and death threats, which is just unacceptable. I mean, gotta go. Okay, so after all that whinger turtling, let's turn this around.
Okay, so this is a bit controversial, but so a few weeks ago, I saw a big billboard for the Michael Jackson movie. And I just felt this little weird thing in the pit of my tummy. I was like, we're doing a feature film about Michael Jackson? Is this still a thing?
Yeah, I thought he was cancelled a long time ago.
Cancelled a long time ago. Because there are very serious allegations of child sex abuse.
Yeah. So
he used to have all these children that were little dancers that would, that he would invite to come into his home. They would sleep in his bed. This is all pretty well documented. He'd shower with them, et cetera, and then there was a big documentary called Leaving Neverland, I think it was called, where two of the alleged victims told their account of being sexually abused by Michael Jackson. And I must admit, I only watched 20 minutes of the documentary because I remember just being they were such credible witnesses, these two. I remember just being I believe you, I believe you, I believe you. I cannot watch this. It was just, I felt sick. It was just, it was heavy going. So I felt a bit uncomfortable when I first saw the billboard. Then I went and watched the trailer because I was well, maybe they go into that. Maybe they sort of
cover it,
explain what happened in his life and his childhood that set up then what was to come, or
Yeah.
And the tagline was all just experience his magic, witness his genius. And I was okay, so we're just going to completely go around all the child sex abuse stuff? That feels weird. So it's who's behind this movie? Well, I listened to a really interesting podcast this week on The Daily, the New York Times Daily podcast, and it was about how this has been a very successful PR marketing campaign by the Michael Jackson family estate, who, want to keep making money out of the assets, the songs, the musicals, all the assets that he left. Because I didn't realize, but when he died, he was $500 million in debt.
Wow.
And so they got his personal brand valued at $0. So they didn't have to pay tax and all this stuff, and the debt could be forgiven because they're his personal brand is worth nothing because of all these allegations and everything that was going on. But now, so this has actually been a concerted effort of the family to bring it back. And it's been very successful, is basically what this journalist was saying. Yeah. Actually, in the original version of the film, here's the crazy bit, sort of towards the end, they were going to go into the child sexual allegations stuff, but not in the way you would think, to sort of lay out what might happen, but to actually demonize the families of these children, to be you got to watch out for those people like that trying to take advantage of Michael and, trying to get money out of him, blah, blah, blah. So they realized it was shot, it was filmed, it was all done. And they realised, because of the settlements of these court cases, the families settled with the victims and the victims' families, they're not allowed to mention them in future things. Yeah. So they had to go back, reshoot it, redo it all. Yeah. Which was to their advantage actually, because had it come out with the version that was meant to, it would have been much, much, much more controversial.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Mol, like how do you feel about a film being made about, you know, someone who's got some fairly hectic stuff alleged against him that will just kind of like...
I mean, it's shocking, but it's not surprising because it seems when it's like a famous artist, people can make excuses for it. They're like, but he's got such great music, you know, maybe he was disturbed. And like, look at Chris Brown. He's still doing concerts all around and he was convicted of abuse.
Look at the president of America.
Yeah, who has rape
multiple
allegations
and charges. Yeah.
So, I mean, it shouldn't be this way, but are we that surprised?
Yeah, I mean, I know for me it's like, can you separate the art from the artist? Can you just enjoy Michael Jackson, like the early works?
Yeah.
For me, I actually can't anymore.
Yeah.
Like I hear them and all I can think of is where it ended up, you know?
I remember being out in Sydney and we're at like, it was either a nightclub or like a bar club and one of his songs came on and it was that thing of like, can we dance to this?
Are we still doing this?
This feels a bit uncomfortable. Like even when it's got a great beat, that Robin Thicke song with
Oh yeah. I know you want it. That one.
Even that now, I actually was like, nah, I refuse to dance to this because the lyrics are disgusting.
Yeah.
Robin Thicke, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, very catchy, but
very catchy, but
it's
like
basically
disturbing.
being like, you want to be raped, don't you?
But
Go
disturbing.
on.
So yeah, I can't personally. Yeah, I thought we were talking about light things, but yeah.
Yeah. We had a very Australian morning in our family. We had a giant kangaroo in the backyard and one
Cute.
under the house.
What?
Yeah, I think because it's been so much rain, we actually had a month's worth of rain in 24 hours.
Oh my God, it has not stopped raining.
I've never seen it before, but literally I think the kangaroos are like, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go under the house. And so there's this cute little kangaroo under there this morning.
Oh my God, that must have been exciting for the boys.
I was so excited.
I mean, I'd be excited if there's a kangaroo in my backyard, let alone your little
under the
boys.
house, yeah. Because the mummy kangaroo, quite a big mummy kangaroo, she was obviously to the side of the deck, but it was the baby that was under. So mummy was like, I'm not going nowhere. But I did have to make sure because Charlie is very cute in his gumboots running up, hello kangaroo, hello,
Oh
good
my God,
morning.
no, they can
I'm
get
like,
aggressive.
okay, they can also got crazy claws and can kick you. So trying to make, you know, it's that balance of like, you don't want to instill fear, but you want to be like, I don't want you getting your face ripped off. So just sort of the balance of like, we give the kangaroo space and we say, hello kangaroo.
'Cause remember that time where went to Currumbin Bird Sanctuary and that
yes.
kangaroo started attacking
Japanese tourist.
Yeah.
But like fully went back on its tail, didn't it? And like was kicking her with the legs, like sent her flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was scarred by that as a child.
I know. So that's why I'm always like, don't get too close to the mummy kangaroo.
When nature strikes. Oh, another because dolphins were always my favorite animal growing up.
Oh yeah.
And I remember
You and every other little girl.
Yeah, I know.
I want to be a marine biologist.
Yeah, when I grow up. So when I was studying screenwriting at uni, my screenwriting teacher, she was awesome, Susan McGillicuddy. She'd actually...
I love how you always give shout outs to every person you've worked with.
You know, you never know. Suze might
Michelle
be listening.
Brown, thank you for that one time.
Well, this is her story, so I'm just acknowledging it. Yeah. She was working on Flipper when it used to shoot on the Gold Coast. I didn't realise. But she was a script writer on it. And she said she was on set one day and she was like, she was quite hippie. And she's like, dolphins, yeah, my spirit animal, blah, blah, blah. And this dolphin was on the set for this scene. And this girl comes in, she's an extra for the day. She's like going to be a dolphin trainer to like jump into the pool.
Oh,
and just before she jumps in, the dolphin handler was like in front of the whole cast and crew, love, are you on your period? And she's like, no. But she was too embarrassed to say it.
Yeah.
So she jumps into the pool and this dolphin just attacked her. Apparently like the scent of menstrual blood, I don't know, just sent him crazy, like smashed her up against the side of the pool until she was like concussed and broke 3 ribs and they had to like race her off to hospital. And she's like, all my visions of like dolphins being these beautiful, calm, peaceful animals were destroyed by Flipper.
I mean, that leads me into a whole other conversation of like
crazy animal stories. Let's go.
Why we hide our periods and just how demonized having a period is, even though every single woman on the planet has
I
a
know.
period.
Oh, I remember it was the most embarrassing thing ever though. Do you remember when you first got your period and like how shameful it felt and you didn't want to talk to anyone? I remember Mum hid like a tampon in my bag and it fell out on the bus and I still feel sick about it when I remember it.
Serious?
Yeah.
See, that's so wrong.
My bag tipped over. I didn't know there was a tampon in there and then I was like, oh my God, Mum, how could you do that
I
to
think
me?
it's so important that now, especially being a mother of a little girl, I don't carry my shame into her.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a really big effort. We're going to celebrate it. We're
Yeah.
going to eat cake. We're going to normalize it. We're going to talk
Red
about
velvet?
it. Yeah, red velvet. Because for me, it was such a embarrassing event.
Yeah.
And even though Mum tried not to make it so, like I remember she did try and take me out for lunch.
Yeah.
But it was still like
I was
this
still like, oh God, like bra
horrendous
shopping.
thing.
Oh God. Like,
And I went to this women's circle when I was pregnant. It was this beautiful, a bit witchy. I loved it. We burnt stuff. And she had talked about this and how her daughters are so comfortable with their period, and one of them got their period. She's like, "Oh my God, I got my period!"
That's
yes.
so good.
And the neighbor's girl came over and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And she's like, "Why? Why would I be sorry to get my period?" And she said she's just so proud, and she was almost feeling
fantastic.
cringy,
Embarrassed.
but she's like, "I can't let my
yes.
cringiness, my shame that I experience go on to her."
You know, that's a good point for me though too, raising boys to talk about it as
Yeah.
well. Because why should it all be on the girls? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I feel like so many women start dating men and men, they don't understand about periods. They don't understand when they come, what they, you know, and I like that there's like this trend now with some younger men
Yeah.
that they'll actually download the app, like the
What?
period app that their partner has, so they like know when they're on their cycle.
I
and
love that.
I think it's very smart and very strategic.
Yeah.
They know where their partner's at, what they need at that
Yeah.
time of the month,
But my partner,
when to avoid them or be gentle and give them chocolate.
But my partner had listened to a podcast about endometriosis, which is what I have. And I was shook. On like our third date, I started talking about it because it's been such a big part of my life, having endo. And he was all across it. And I was like, wow.
Hot.
Never had a conversation with a guy where
Sexy.
they know almost more than me about
Yeah,
endometriosis.
yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, listen to a podcast on it. And I'm like, how
Because
good?
that was another crazy thing. Like, you know, I think we hear about
Endometriosis.
endometriosis a lot now, but it was horrific for you growing up. Like, just explain a bit, like, what was it like when you got your period when you were in primary
I
school?
would pass out. Well, grade 7, I would pass out on my parents' bathroom tiles. I'd be like in and out of consciousness because of the pain. Like it was.
And you were basically told all your childhood though, weren't you?
Yeah,
That's just periods.
that's just what it is.
It's just painful.
And at that stage, it took 9 years to diagnose. And I remember I went to my first gynecologist and she was like, oh yeah, without looking or hearing, like seeing you, you probably got endometriosis. She goes, I'm 98% sure you have endometriosis. And it was so validating. And I just cried because I was like, I knew this wasn't normal.
But you've just been told by your doctors, your GP, your whole life, yeah, that's just periods.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So
How much pain women have experienced.
I'm so happy it's changed now. But what I always used to think when I was in this horrible pain, I was waiting for my tablets to kick in. At least I can take these tablets. What happens to women in these countries where they can't afford or they don't have access to this medication? Because that medication would like save me. I don't like, it was just, even when I had my first contractions in pregnancy, I was like, oh yeah, this is like on par with some of the pain I used to get.
I've done endo. I'll be right.
Yeah. But also like, I feel like I could mentally handle it a little bit better because I was like, I know there's an end to this eventually, like this pain. But the pain I had experienced as a young girl was just so horrendous.
I'm really sorry that you had all that.
Yeah, I don't
really
know why you
terrible
missed out
pain.
on it. I mean, I'm glad you did.
Well, I mean,
get
I did
it.
get cancer, so, you know, swings and roundabouts, you know.
Sorry, forgot about
Yeah,
cancer.
you missed out on that. Like, don't worry, I got
Any
my fair share
excuse
of
to bring
pain.
up cancer.
It's not a competition, but I won.
You win. You got air conditioning because you had cancer. You win. My darling babysitter who is looking after Amali right now, I asked her for a cup of tea because I was running really behind and she's like, yeah, no worries, let me make you one. I was like, thank you so much. And she's a matcha drinker. But what she made me was quite interesting. The poor darling, she hadn't turned on the kettle. Like it'd been warmed from earlier before. So she thought, I'll use that water, put the tea bag in and then put the milk in and then the water.
Cardinal sins of tea making.
And I was just wondering, like, it wasn't the best cup of tea I've ever
Let's be
had.
honest, it was a shocker, wasn't it?
Like I'm very much the
You're
water.
like, I'll drink it normally, but it was bad.
I'm very much like the water has to be boiled, and then I put the tea bag in, let it draw, and then I take the tea bag out, add the milk, give it a little stir.
Yeah, look, I think that is the traditional method for making tea. Interested to hear if anyone's got other methods. My husband, he will go tea bag, boiling water, but then leave the tea bag in there while he pours the milk and kind of use the tea bag to stir the milk in rather than using a teaspoon. And Mum's not really okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm okay with that.
She feels like it messes with the perfect cup of tea.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think the young kids these days are drinking matcha, and they're also, bubble tea.
Yeah, let's be honest. The young people are not drinking tea.
Yeah. Or if you are, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I mean, do you know, actually the only reason I started drinking tea, I'd never drunk it till I did my gap year in Giggleswick.
Yeah.
And I was so cold. I just froze all year. So I was just drinking tea all day just to keep warm.
Yeah, we drank a lot of tea in my gap yard too, because you'd have a break and you'd be like, nothing else to do. Let's have a cup of tea.
Have a cup of tea. Have a little tea, little bicky.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tea sorted.
Yeah.
I think we just all agree that you go tea bag, boiling water has to be just boiled, milk, unless you don't have milk. But
well, we will see in the comments.
To top the tea off, scone
Yeah.
with it, obviously. Now, I was shocked to learn recently because for me, you go butter, then you go jam, then dollop of cream on top.
Yeah.
But some people do the cream and the jam around the other way.
Okay.
And I just can't.
Because
cream and then jam?
Because they're using the cream as butter.
Yeah, but that's just a mess. It doesn't look as good. And it's also just going to get all mushed in. If you go cream first, then you're just going to have this milky jam.
Well, you let us know, our listeners out there. Is that the normal way or not?
Jam first or cream first? Need to know.
And just
there's only one right answer.
And shout out to some of our listeners. We've got Gemma and Grace.
Also Tash, Prue and Kirsten, who have listened to every episode.
Thanks, guys. We love you.
We love you. Also, Mel, very exciting this week. We actually got sent some pod mail by the girls at Whinge Co.
Oh, what is it?
So they listened to our episode where we're talking about creativity and it doesn't matter if you're good or not, just do it. It's really good for your mental health. So it is a...
oh my God, it's a candle making kit.
Yeah, a candle making kit.
Guess what everyone's getting for Christmas?
Throwback to my very cool days when I made paper and candles. But also, look, paint your own vase kit.
Oh my God. Make 4 candles, relaxing and soothing. Great activity for the whole family.
So do you want to have a date night with me at home?
Yes.
With our babies?
Oh, that will be so relaxing.
No, but once they've gone to bed,
yes.
Should we paint?
Oh my God, paint your own vase. It's so cute.
So we'll link to Whinge Co in the show notes. Thanks, ladies. Really appreciate it.
And it comes with a facial mask. We can do facial masks, make candles, and our own.
It's actually my dream Saturday night in right now, to be honest. Staying home and doing a bit of painting and making some candles. I don't want to be out and about right now. I'm tired. I've been breastfeeding. I just want to do a bit of painting on a Saturday night.
Different things bring people different joys.
Well, you want to go raving right now, Mom?
Look, if I didn't have what are we up to now? 15-week-old? Yeah, I would actually. I love raving. I love going out.
Do you love raving?
I love partying.
Yeah, you do love partying.
I just love it. But not with a 15-week-old when I've got no sleep.
No. Even you went to a wedding the other week and you're like, oh, drinking's not quite as fun as it
Honestly,
when you have to breastfeed?
Honestly, this wedding, it got to 6:30 and I swear to you it was midnight. And me and my partner looked at our watches and we're like, oh my God, it's 6:30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's parent time clock is a different world.
Also, 1 glass of champagne in my head equaled 5 glasses of champagne. No, 1 glass. Sorry,
you pour it in
1 glass of champagne was the equivalent of 5 glasses because I haven't been drinking.
Yeah,
I was like,
cheap date.
Whoa. Can we do a shout out for your phone? Cord? Is that a charger?
My mum bought this. Thanks, Didi. Shout out to Mum. She bought me this enormous cord. But apparently this is a charger, but it's just another thing I've got to charge that I won't.
But B, it's a charging cord. It doesn't have a charge in it.
Yeah, it does. I charge it up.
No, it's a cord, B. You can't charge it up. It doesn't have a charge in it. Oh my God, are you serious? You're like, it doesn't work. I'm like, because it's a cord. Are you serious? Oh my God. She thought it was a portable charger.
It was like a charger cord.
Oh my God, child.
So I was like, it doesn't work.
You're like, it doesn't work. You want some? I'm like, how? It's not plugged into a charger. Oh my God.
This makes so much more sense now.
Jesus, Bryony.
Thanks, Mum. I didn't realize it was a cord. Like, I thought it was a charger, so I plugged this into the wall.
You know, smart, dumb people.
this is a
They're
boomer
smart, but
trait.
they're also really dumb.
I plugged this into the wall to charge up so that I have a portable charger with me, but then it didn't work because
I
it's a
didn't think
cord.
we had to explain to you that it was a cord, but I will be sure to tell Mother. Wow.
So you don't want any of my charge?
Well, if I have a charger, yes. Anyhow, what's got to go this week, Bryony? My God. Last week I did a very shallow gotta go. So this week I thought I'd go a bit deeper. But
don't go too deep.
I am. I'm going all the way to the bottom.
Okay. Oh God.
No, but what I think has to go this week is I have been really not upset, but just like feeling really, I guess a word is frumpy. Like I've had this beautiful baby girl, but I'm just hating the way I look at the moment. And I look back on the podcast recordings and all I can think of is like, I'm funny, but oh my God, I hate it.
She's like, I am really funny. My makeup looks great.
Like, I just don't like the way I look at the moment. And I think that's got to go. I've just got to go. My body just did this amazing thing.
Yes.
It just brought literally life that did not exist. It brought life into the planet.
Literally, you're basically God at this point. Like you're the creator of life.
And I've just got to get over the fact that right now my clothes aren't fitting. It's just that really I've never seen myself this size before. I'm not used to it. I don't like it. I went to a wedding. I just hate the pictures. So I've just got to let that go. And I feel like that has got to go.
Yes, Mole. And when I'm really sorry you're feeling like that, and I totally get it. I felt exactly the same. Mm-hmm. And I think, when your body changes in a way that's out of your control, it's just really challenging. But also, as you said, your body has just done the most, like literally the most amazing thing a human body can do.
Yeah.
Name me something cooler than growing a human and giving birth to it. Like it's insane. Yeah. And I know that my first pregnancy, I was just like, I felt the need to like explain my body to people like, oh, I'm pregnant, or, like I'm not fat, like I'm pregnant. And when I look back on the photos now, one, I looked great. Like I was pregnant and I was growing life. And even when I didn't look great, I'm like, why do we care so much? Because we live in a society that puts such a premium and emphasis on how we look and how women look at all times. And you've got to be looking amazing no matter what you're doing, whether you're exercising, whether you're giving birth, whether you're having a baby. And I know it was a time. It was really a time for me as well of like just actively unfollowing people. There might have been nice people doing whatever content, but if it didn't make me feel good about my body, I was like, I just don't need to see this.
And I really want to exercise, but we have literally had rain for like 2 months.
Plus you're tired.
And I'm so
you're
tired.
exhausted. It's like the last thing you want to do. You just got to be really gentle with yourself in this time and just take it day by day. And
anyway, for me, that's what's got to go.
Okay, so what's got to go? I was walking into the chemist the other day and I saw these masseuse shoes, the really kind of daggy old people ones that have got all the little pinpoints in them.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, they look good. And I was like, you know what? You've hit an age when you're looking at the sandals in the chemist being like, they look really good.
Oh my God.
And so what's going to go is uncomfortable shoes.
Oh yeah, big time.
Just can't do it anymore. I'm going to take a leaf out of Helen Clark's book. I just love that she was just rocking out in a pair of comfortable sneakers, and I was so jealous. I was in a pair of uncomfortable heels and I thought, I really wish I was wearing those. So yeah, uncomfortable shoes, gotta go.
Gotta go. All right, B. I need to, once again, I feel like I sign off with the same one every week.
Gotta go
needs me. Feed my baby.
Yes, that will probably be the way for
the rest of my life.
Many years to come. Yeah.